first part is general, and I will start with that. So I'm just seeing why oh, there we go. So a little bit of our agenda, we'll talk about why summer camp's important. And I know things to consider, preparing for camp, sharing information, support options, funding, where to get information, and conclude the first part before we go into city specific stuff. So as far as the benefits of camp, and I know it's a big question this year with COVID, do I send my child? Do I not? Are they going to be safe? All of those things. A couple things to consider. Camp is a way to make new friends and meet new people. Often it's a fresh start for kids. Those struggling with the academics and the school stuff can try and go to a camp where there's things they like and are excited about. You can develop new skills, practice existing ones, a little bit of independence or self-determination, risk-taking, increased self-esteem, sense of belonging. The other thing that I know for some parents, it is definitely a respite for you guys, and that's important, especially now as you've had not a lot of respite this past year, so it is something to consider. So the big question is what to consider when you're choosing a summer camp. And so when you're looking at your child or you're looking at what's available, you need to consider, do you want a day camp or an overnight camp? You want to look at, do you want an inclusive camp? So an inclusive camp, we talk about a camp that is for everyone and includes children with disabilities, or a more specialized camp, which is designed specifically for children with disabilities. You'll want to look at the camp's value and philosophy. And you have to recognize that not every camp is going to be a good fit for your family or for your child. So look a little bit at those values. You're going to look at the staffing and the staff training. And I know there's a lot of camps, and Danielle will talk a lot more about this, that have very specific things that they have to train on. So those are things to consider and look at. And also if you need to send that extra support. You want to look at the structure of the camp. If your child needs a lot of structure and it's in a camp that's kind of go with the flow camp, that's not going to set your child up for success. You'll want to look at the camp activities and routines and length of day. So if your child's really into arts and music and it's a sports camp, they're probably not going to like those activities. The other thing is if you're looking at if you need physical accessibility, so take a look at that. So a camp in an indoor facility with an outdoor accessible playground, maybe a better camp than one that's in a conservation area. Couple things that we talk about when you're preparing. So this is the time you do that. If possible, involve your child with choosing the camp. We know it's ultimately your decision as a parent, but if you can get buy-in or you can kind of find out what they want. The other thing we really recommend is that you research the camp. Ask your questions. So call, email. I'm going to talk about a camp fair, and I believe I sent that out as well in the email, that you can find out more information. If your child needs support, so either a one-on-one, especially with COVID, you need to talk about that before you register. There are very specific numbers that camps are allowed to have, and ratios. So you either have to look at if the camp has that support, or if you want to send your own support with the camp, you need to talk to the camps about that. We at KidsAbility really, I can't stress this one enough, but openly share information about your child with the camp. We recommend doing the All About form. I know this is a required form with the city. Danielle will talk more about that. It's one we recommend for any camp that you send your child to. The other thing that you can do is request a weekly schedule and help in advance. So if your child struggles with transition to know a little bit about what the schedule's like, you can help the camp by preparing them in advance. So whether you do, hey, next week you're going to go to camp, on Monday you're going to do this, and then you're going to have these kind of activities. So kind of writing a story of what the camp experience is going to be like. If possible, and again, with COVID, I do not know if this is possible, but sometimes if you can visit the campsite, or if you go in the evening and say, oh, this is where you're going to go next week, that helps with some of that anxiety and transition. And again, as parents, and if you stay positive and optimistic. So going to talk about sharing information. This is a really, really, as I said, a really critical one. And so we believe that each child is unique, and that the more information you share, the more you can set them up for success. I did email the All About Me form instructions and examples with the email that went out today, and I'm going to show it really quickly on my slides. But really, the nuts and bolts of it is an All About Me form allows the camp leaders really quickly to know your child, strategies to help them, what they like. So you have to remember the camp leaders are often high school and university students, and they deal with a lot of campers over the summer. And having a one-page handout that talks about your child, gives quick strategies, and says, oh, my child really likes Frozen, or my child is motivated by this, it's going to help your child succeed in the camp. You're going to provide the basic information, a few categories, strategies, and there are examples on the KidsAbility website. I emailed them to you, but in a nuts and bolts format. There are different sections that you talk about, how I communicate, things I need help with, any safety or medical, motivating things, and then strategies. So an example, I know this is a lot of information on a slide. So this, we can see, so the strategies here, let me sit beside a leader so I can whisper questions and answers and don't have to say them out loud, right? It's less scary for me to try. Sorry. I thought my phone was on Do Not Disturb. Sorry about that. I can, I might have a problem with that. So again, the strategies that will help, things I have difficulty with, things that motivate you. So that's kind of an example, and you have that in your handout. Support options. So if your child requires extra support, talk to the camps. So there are a whole bunch of camps in Cambridge and in Waterloo region that have support. Remember, it's not necessarily one-on-one support. So we call it support options because it could be a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1. There are also other camps that we have lower camper ratios. And Danielle will talk about the Sunblast camp. It's an example of one of those. So it's a camp that they don't have the one-on-one support, but they have more counselors and fewer campers. If you have special services at home, you have a worker, you have dollars that you can potentially hire a worker. The other option is to find your own. So whether it's a family member, a babysitter, EA, an educational assistant, a neighbor, a high school student, there are a number of different places that you can look. So these are camps that I know in the Cambridge area that have support options. So obviously the city, and Danielle will talk all about those. And the city includes the Cambridge Center for the Arts. This next one is new. So the YMCA in Cambridge will have one-on-one support or 2-to-1 in their day camp. So not their overnight ones, but just their day camps. Some of our neighborhood associations in Cambridge have the one-on-one. Hidden Acres is not in Cambridge, but it is also a camp that has the one-on-one. And the ESQ, which is the Engineering Science Quest camp, they do have a satellite office in Cambridge, or they have in the past. And they are a low ratio. They're not a 1-to-1, but they are one of those low ratio camps. So as far as some tips when you're looking at a worker, if you're using the camp support worker, um, if possible, see if you can set up a Zoom call or visit the worker. So at least your camper get a picture so that your child can meet the worker in a way prior to camp. And again, you want to prepare your child as much as possible, letting them know they'll be spending the week with someone else. If you're using your own worker and you need to find someone, obviously start early. If you can find someone that your child's familiar with, that's beneficial. And then this is really important. Ratios matter with COVID, so you need to inform the camp and inquire if it's okay to send a support worker with your child. And I hope, Danielle, you'll touch on that a little bit more with your camps. And then prior to the camp, if you can, visit the camp with the worker to say, okay, this is where you'll be coming with Sally and going to camp. So the next question we get a lot is, where do I find money for camps? So these are funding options that are income-based. Depending on where you want to look, you should inquire if the camp has a subsidy program. I have not listed all of them. I've kind of listed the big ones, but I know there's a lot of church camps or camps at churches, and they often will do a subsidy program. The city has its own subsidy for residents of Cambridge, and that's called Activities for Less, and it is done yearly. So if you apply now in February, it's good till the end of January. If you applied in November, it's good till the end of October. So it's approximately $300 that you get to use towards recreation if you qualify. Kids Can Play is another big one in Cambridge. So you must again live in Cambridge or North Dumfries, be in financial need. They cover up to $500 once every 6 months. And so they are a big supporter of camps and kids in camps. Jumpstart is another option. The Jumpstart has to be an active camp. Again, it doesn't matter where you live to apply for this one. Again, it's up to $300. But again, really important, it's active camp. The YMCA's fee assistance is now called Fee Assist, and it's a brand new website. So that's a change from last year. Last year, it was still called Activities for Less. Now it's called Fee Assist. And that is a link for that. And then the other thing is within the neighborhood associations. So every neighborhood association in Cambridge has a family outreach worker, and they will help work with you and help on funding programs and camps. So those are income-based funding options. There are also non-income-based funding options. So again, we talk about using your special services at home. A lot of families use these dollars to pay for camp. You can use so their budget year is April 1st. You can use this year's dollars to pay for camps that are happening in their next fiscal year. Okay. You can also use your autism childhood budget. There is a lottery dollars available through Autism Ontario called the Summer Camp Reimbursement Fund. And that you can apply. It usually starts in April where they post it on their website. So you'll just have to kind of go and look. So they'll pay for the camp as well as the worker, so up to $600. If your child has cerebral palsy, you can apply at the LEAF funding. And if you have muscular dystrophy, you can apply to the Community Service Fund for Muscular Dystrophy Canada. So again, these are very specific based on having a disability or having a specific disability. So those funding, and they're not income-based. The other question I get a lot at KidsAbility is, where do I get the information? We are currently working on having a central place on our website that is called Camp Info. And so it's a camp directory. And then there's another part where it's got all the resources. So it's kind of a spot that you can go. The other thing that's kind of new, we are doing with Waterloo Region Family Network, and I know Sue is on this call, yay. We are going with a camp fair that's virtual, and I'll talk a little bit later about that. Definitely go to the city's website. So they have one that's specific to camps. And it will talk about, Danielle will talk way more about this, but anything that's there. The neighborhood associations link is also through the city website. And from there, you can kind of pick your neighborhood. The YMCA, the YWCA, those are other big camp providers of camps in Cambridge. There's a lot of little ones as well. We can look at the horseback riding. There's a lot of different things like that. So this is kind of just one of the places that you can find information. So this is a little bit about our camp fair. So the camp fair is replacing what we used to do at the Family Resource Center in Kitchener. And we're breaking it into 3 different nights. So our first one is actually next Monday, and we're going to be talking about overnight camps. So the overnight camps are going to come. They're going to give a little bit of talk about what their camp is, and then it will be a question and answer time. So you can ask any of your questions. The following one will be day camps. And then we know a big pressure point for our families with those that are 13 plus is our teen and young adults. Again, there'll be presentations and then question and answers for those. So I would really recommend you come to that. These are Waterloo region wide. So you're going to hear about camps in Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo, and in Woolwich, New Hamburg. So you hear all Waterloo region. Okay, a little bit about what I know as far as registration information. Camp Pride's registration is open now. The YMCA just opened February 1st. The YWCA opened February 1st. Hidden Acres opened February 1st. Cambridge, and Danielle will talk more about this, March 1st. KidsAbility camps are no longer called Firefly. They are KidsAbility for Purchase camps, March 1st. Their location, the camps will only be at the Waterloo site as of now. That could change. The Sunbeam camps will be March 1st. City of Kitchener is March 8th. The Rainbow Day Camp, which is another really big inclusive camp in Guelph, is March 8th. Woolwich is the 9th. Waterloo is the 24th. And the neighborhoods are May 1st. Just want to give you this. So normally this happens a lot earlier for a lot of camps, but so it's a bit hit and miss as far as what we know at this time, but this is what I can share with you. The other for the pressure points of the teens, the AIM, the Adults in Motion camp is open now. Again, Camp Pride, Hidden Acres is open now. The Sunbeam opens March 1st. The youth sense is 13 plus. It will be a half day. My understanding is Cambridge families can attend that. It's again a low ratio camp. March 8th for Rainbow. And the KidsAbility Youth Exploring Possibilities, April 1st, and Community Living in Cambridge, May 3rd. So that is what I know as far as camp opening dates at this point in time. These are all in that handout that I sent with the email today with the Zoom link that talks about summer camp planning and important dates, as well as the dates of the virtual camp fair. So I'm going to conclude my part. And I think the critical part that I want to say is that you want to set your child up for success. So you want to get an environment that's suited for them. You want to get an environment that's interesting and meaningful for them, and that they connect with. So if an engaged camper has fewer behaviors or fewer challenges. If you're providing your own worker with your child, please make sure they understand what the camp entails. So running, jumping, singing, you want them to be excited with your camper and keep up with your camper. Again, I can't stress this one enough, is that be as open as you can with the camp when they ask for information. Get it back timely. The right camp will welcome everything about your child. And the more information a camp has, the better they can be and the better they can be with your child. The last point here is um, at KidsAbility, we do what's called summer planning consult. So you're starting your research. You're gonna hear what the city has. Um, and you've heard the information I've given you, and you're like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. This is the first time I've put my child in camp. You can email me and say, I'd really like to book a summer planning consult, and we'll go over specifically for your child. And that is in that handout as well. So I'm going to conclude my part. I know I've talked relatively quickly, but I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to pass it over to Danielle, and then we will go from there.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Danielle. I have been with the city now since 2018, so ready to embark on to our 4th summer here at the city of Cambridge. We've come a long way. We've had some great successions these last few years. COVID put a hiccup into our plans last year, which is okay. We were able to adapt and move forward. In 2018 and 2019, we supported approximately 140 to 160 kids over the 8-9 week summer. Last year with COVID, we were supposed to run 10 weeks. We only ended up running about 8 weeks, and we were still able to support approximately 80 kids. All through the ages of 4 to 12 with varying exceptionalities. So really all in all, a good success story. I'm going to do my best to answer any questions tonight. I may not have all the answers, but if I don't have the answers, then I can certainly get back to you with those answers. So I'm just gonna screen share my little PowerPoint presentation here. Cheryl, can I get a thumbs up that you can see this? Perfect. All right. So here at the City of Cambridge, we do offer a 3-tier system of service. So we do offer integrated camps as well as specialized camp as well. So as Cheryl was mentioning earlier, we do offer one-on-one, one-on-2, and sometimes one-on-3 options in our integrated settings. Now, with COVID, we did adapt to strictly one-on-one last year. The one thing that I have understood from past years, that it's been really helpful for our kiddos to be matched up with the same inclusion facilitator week over week, as long as there's no pertinent dangers or issues or conflict between the two individuals themselves. But we have had a lot of success with just having the same inclusion facilitator with the same kiddo week over week, and that is something I'd like to continue. So with COVID still in the air, this summer we will be offering a one-on-one system only for integrated camps. For our specialized sites, which is our Sunblast and Imagination Station, this is our more of a unique site. So our Sunblast portion of camp is for children with physical and developmental disabilities. And we do encourage that they bring their friends, or they can certainly bring their siblings with them as well, so they feel a little bit more ease, as well as essentially it's a one-stop shop where mom, dad, guardian could drop everybody off at the same location. Imagination Station is children with significant impulsivity. anxiety, difficulty transitioning, and or are easily frustrated. Now, with Sunblast and Imagination Station, in this program has been running for, from my understanding, almost 15 years. We've always run out of the Grandview Public School located in Preston. And that is because we have it's perfectly accessible. We have full rights to the facility, and we have a outdoor space as well as a gymnasium and a couple of classrooms. Now, because of COVID, the school board has revoked all contracts last year, and although they haven't made a decision yet this year, we are anticipating that it's going to be very similar. So we've kind of gotten ahead of it, and um, so, um, we have been able to offer WG Johnson Center. So last year we ran Sunblast and Imagination Station out of the WG Johnson Center gymnasium. Now we were able to do this because the WG Johnson Center was closed to the public and was only open for camp. That will not be the case this year. We will need to reopen to the public as well. But everybody is going to have um, a particular entrance and exit doors. So for our Sunblast families and Imagination Station families, we will be using the accessible doors off of the left side of the building, and those doors are only going to be for that camp. We have been able um, to book off the Ted Wake Lounge room, as well as a couple of breakout rooms for quiet space, as well as lunch spaces, and we also have the accessible washroom there as well. And double bonus, it's air conditioned, which is, I know, a concern to some as well. So that is that site. So we are running out of 3 sites this year, so we're still having to compress our program opportunities based on the provincial guidelines that we need to adhere to. The provincial guidelines and restrictions that were made last year, there has been no change to them this year as of yet. So we're still intending on operating on the same guidelines and parameters set out by public health. And that is that we are not able to offer any more than 10 individuals per program space. So it's certainly putting a little bit of a pinch point on the number of programs that we can offer and the number of spaces that we do have. But that's okay. We're here to adapt and we're here to make it work. So we are going to be offering our integrated summer camp programs out of the John Dolson Center, the Haskell Arena, and the WG Johnson Center. So for the WG Johnson Center and the John Jolson Center, we are going to have our kinder camp, which is ages 4 and 5, our tykes, which are ages 6 and 7, our juniors are ages 8 to 9, and our seniors, which are ages 10 to 12. For Haskell Arena, we were able to make that more of a unique site these last couple of years in more of an active sports programming space. So we've had a lot of success with our ultimate sports camps there, our archery camp is there, our skating camp is there. Our skating camp we introduced in 2019, that is for the month of August, where it's called Summer Sport and Skating Camp. So we've actually hired a individual, a coach from one of our local figure skating clubs who provides a 90-minute instruction on ice. And then the rest of the day is filled with different types of sporting activities as well as games and crafts. We do have helmets and skates available to families that require them, as well as we do have skating assists that you can certainly use as well. And there's no extra charge to that. We are looking at offering a new swim camp this year. So this is a brand new camp that we are looking to implement this summer. And that's going to be out of the Hespeler Arena, but they are going to swim at the W.G. Johnson Center. So this one's still in the little works right now, so I'm giving you a little bit of a heads up on this. But what we're looking to do is a 60 to 90-minute session in the morning in the pool and a 60 to 90-minute session in the afternoon in the pool. And this is going to have a some type of swimming instruction to it, as well as leisure swim as well. So it's going to be a double-edged sword. And then they're going to fulfill the rest of their day with a wide variety of sporting activities, games, and crafts. So registration in the past has been February 1st. With the delay of the not knowing what's going to happen, we did delay it by a month. So registration is going to begin on Monday, March 1st at 8 a.m. So you will need to register through Coral. If you haven't registered for a city program yet, and you'd like to register for one of our summer camp programs, I do suggest that you log into Coral and create your family portfolio in advance, so that way you are ready and set before March 1st begins. So just going back to facilities again, so we do also offer support at our Cambridge Center for the Arts camps. So they are going to be looking at offering 10 weeks of summer as well. They are just finalizing their menu. In past, they've done a wide variety of drama, musical theater, as well as pottery, and I think they've done some singing ones as well. So I highly suggest you look on their website, which you can access through the city's website, for a detailed listing. I would suggest you look the last week of February, and all of their information will be up prior to the March 1st registration date. So there is no cap on the number of weeks that you register for. It's all first come, first serve. So I can tell you that in the past, our spaces have become full within the first 2 months of registration. So in the past, registration has opened February 1st, and usually by end of March, middle of April at the latest, we are completely full. So if you are considering the City of Cambridge for summer camp opportunities programs for your child, I would highly, highly recommend that you register early. The other piece that we do offer in lieu of subsidies is a camp payment plan. So you can actually set up the registration to be a payment plan based on when you register. So if you register in March, you can do a payment plan of 5 equal payments of the total amount of your registration. So that will be taken out on the 1st of each month, and with the last month being August 1st. Okay, and then it just prorated as we go on. So if you register April, it's 4 months. If you register in May, it's 3 months, etc. Registration for one-on-one support or our Sunglass Imagination Station can be done online through Coral. As of right now, our facilities are not open, so we are not accepting in-person registrations, but we are hoping that that changes when the time comes. Here is my email if you'd like to send me an email later if you have any questions that come up. If in the event that we do become full, you are able to send a support worker with your child. Now, we do have pretty specific criteria that lists what a support worker is. So unfortunately, we can't have aunt, uncle, friend, a relative come to camp with your child. The support worker must be somebody with a background in exceptionalities, such as a PSW, an EA, or a CYW, child and youth worker. Okay, but if this comes to a point and you do need to cross this road, I can certainly work with you. So the program ready. is your child program ready? So this form is just a brief form of can your child participate in at least 50% of the activities? Does your child require assistance when going to the washroom? This program form is actually online and can be viewed and completed right from the cambridge.ca/camps website. Just a review for camp locations. So Sunglass and Imagination Station is running out of the W.G. Johnson Center. This is going to be offered for 5 weeks. So camp does start on June 28th and will run until September 3rd. So it's 10 weeks of summer this year. For Sunblast and Imagination Station, it's 5 weeks. So it starts on June 28th. No, I lied. I'm sorry. It starts on July 5th and runs until August 6th. We are not running a short week of Sunblast for the Canada Long Week. My apologies. Here is where you could find information on all things camp, and I'm going to walk you over there once I'm done with this PowerPoint. So www.cambridge.ca/camps. So here's the paperwork. I know it looks long, but I promise you it's not as bad as it may look. So the two that we require is the PIF, which is the Participant Information Form, which I'm going to go over, and the All About Me form. If your child, if there's additional information that you'd like to provide, I do have an extra form for that, and I can certainly provide that to you. If your child is nonverbal, I do have a form if needed, support worker, as well as the administration of EpiPen. The one thing I am missing here is our medication administration form. If your child does take medication, we do have a consent form in which myself or one of the site supervisors would administer that medication, and we would provide you with paperwork once it has been completed at the end of each day. So I'm just going to exit out here for a quick second. So the first thing I wanted to show you was the City of Cambridge website. Share, can I get a thumbs up so that you can see the screen? Perfect. So you will see that March Break camp registration is now open. It is being facilitated out of the John Dolson Center. And there is a link right here that will take you to the Cora website for you to register. Now, the one thing I do want to mention is that this is not done. So we are still in the finalization of all things camp for this summer. So over the next couple of weeks, I will be updating this. And this will be completely finalized by February 22nd. So a week before camp registration occurs, I recommend that you come onto the website to view all of the different programs, all the different opportunities. And I'm also going to walk you through what I call the camps at a glance chart after I'm done this here. So summer camp registration begins Monday, March 1st. In this section here, in this section here, this will be a lot more fuller with all of the different program opportunities. And at the bottom, it will state a FAQ for 2021 camp. So how to register, what will a day in camp look like? Will my child be attending trips or travel off-site? Will my child participate in swimming activities? So I'm really excited to announce that the answer is yes this year. So unfortunately, because of COVID and the unknown of last year, we had to kibosh all swimming programs in camps. So we have been given the approval and the green light to have our participants swim this year. Now they will be swimming in the camp only swims. So we have dedicated time slots in our pools that only campers will be swimming. So they will be not mixing with any of the public. Will you offer one-on-one support? Will I be required to submit additional documentation? That's the PIFs and the All About Me form. Extended care, how do I register? We actually have integrated our extended care option in with the camp fee for last year and for this year. So normally camp runs 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and there's always been an option to purchase additional before care or aftercare for a fee. So what we've done is we've combined it all. So there is no fee for extended care, and we are operating from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. inclusive. With Sunblast and Imagination Station, because of the uniqueness of that camp, we are only permitted to run 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So if you are thinking of registering your child for Sunblast Imagination Station, just remember that program only runs from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. All other programs run 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So the next thing I wanted to show you was the participant information form. So for those of you that are registered for inclusion, support, and accommodation in the past, you would have seen this form. This is a pretty lengthy form. It is 8 pages long. Please do not let it deter you. As Cheryl mentioned, the more information we know, the better succession planning we can do for your child as well as for our staff. Okay. Typically in the past, I've asked for the participant information form and the All About Me form to be sent to me at the end of April. I haven't yet decided on that date, but I imagine it'll be along the same timeline. So the faster you can get this into me, the better, just so we can properly assign the right inclusion facilitator to your child. And it gives us time to review all of the information as well. So here is a section for all of the contact information. It's very important to list as many phones as possible. If you only operate that off of one phone, just list one phone and scratch out home phone or work phone, so I know you only have one phone. Who your emergency contact information is going to be, your child's information. Okay. So this is just going through a whole series of questions about your child, their abilities, their challenges, what they may need help with, my apologies, the level of support that you think that your child will benefit from, a swimming section, a behavioral information section, any medical information. Please list all medications, even if it's not taken at camp. In the event that we have to call an ambulance for any reason, we want to make sure that we have this information to provide to the paramedics. The camp weeks, as you can see, there's 10 weeks listed for this coming summer. And this is just a little bit about program information and fee assistance. Permission and consent. Permission for photographing and videotaping. This is only for city material only. A behavior expectation and a program expectation. Very similar to what Cheryl shared with you earlier, this is our All About Me form. So here you have the opportunity to put your child's name, tell us a little bit about your child, insert a photo of what your child looks like so we can quickly identify them when on site, how you communicate, how the child communicates, things that motivates the child, things they need to help with and have difficulty with, and then any medical and safety information. The last thing I want to share with you is the camps at a glance chart. Um, so this is not finalized. You are seeing this a little preliminary, but we are hoping to finalize this by the end of next week. So this you will find on a link at the camps.ca, cambridge.ca/camps website. And it's just a quick reference guide of which camps are offered where. So you can see at the Haskell Arena, we have our sports camps, we have a swim camp, an archery camp, and a skating camp. The Camp Explore the Outdoors is a modified, condensed version of our Pack and Go program. So our Pack and Go program prior to COVID was our traveling camp, which was for ages 8 to 12, and they would visit an off-site excursion every day. So with what we've done is we've tried to mimic that same program. However, we are going to offer 2 days a week to a location in the outdoors. So some of the ones that I have set up are disc golf, canoeing the Grand, and then also visiting some of our local conservation areas. John Dolson Center, our Kinders, Tykes, Juniors, Seniors, our Sunblast Imagination Station, which is at the W.G. Johnson Center, our Leader in Training Camp, and then our W.G. Johnson Center camp. Now, as Cheryl mentioned before, I do offer the camp stories. So something to assist your child with. I make it very specific to them and to their camp location. Typically by end of May, I have all of the inclusion facilitators assigned to each participant for the summertime with a full schedule. So I will know who's assigned to who, and I can make camp stories accordingly. So inside that camp story would also be a picture of your inclusion facilitator, which your child could reference and have a familiar face to once they arrive on site. Now, for staff training, our inclusion facilitators are certified in High Five, which is a Parks Recreation Ontario quality assurance program. The City of Cambridge did become accredited in January of 2020, and that is through a series of policies and procedures, training and development, branding and awareness, and also evaluating our programs. So we have to hit a certain threshold in order to become accredited, and that's 85% or higher. So they are High Five certified. They're also standard first aid and CPRC certified. We do offer lifts and transfer training, and that is done through Paramed. We also offer behavior management systems training. I am a BMST trainer, so I actually train the staff in behavior management alongside Robin Hyland. Sometimes will assist if the group is large. We also have had workshops done with OK to Be Me and LGBTQ training. And something new that I wanted to try last year, but unfortunately wasn't able to since we kind of came out of the gate a little bit too late. But something I would like to try for this year is a parent panel. So I am looking for 2 to 3 parents to come forward to be a part of one of our training sessions to talk to our staff about a day in the life of autism, a day in the life of muscular dystrophy, a day in the life of Down syndrome, and just to kind of go over what things they may expect, what challenges, what things they could do to help adapt, what works really well, what doesn't. So if you are looking for more information on staff training, I'm certainly happy to provide that to you. I can confirm that our inclusion facilitators are more of the grade 11, 12, and post-secondary students. Most of them are all in some type of educational, recreational, um, disability curriculum background, all looking to be an advocate for children and for the education field. Hi, Chris. Uh, so we are budgeted for 20. So we have 20 inclusion facilitators that council has approved for us to allocate. 3 of those 20 are for our Sunblast and Imagination Station camp for the first 5 weeks, and then they are put into integrated camp for the month of August. So for the first month of July, I have 17 to work with. So that concludes my presentation. I'm going to, did I stop? Yes, I did stop. So I guess we can stop recording at this point and we can open up the floor for anybody that has any questions for either Cheryl or I.